Hello. Blind Pew here.
You are clear of the station. Flight control out.
As the trail on the galactic conspiracy, and indeed the Thargoids, seems to have gone cold temporarily. Yes, good spot. I have purposefully got the power management set up on this stealth vessel to shut off virtually all systems when I deploy hardpoints. Cool stealth mode on. I've decided to send out a transmission I meant to do some time ago. I've been here before but never got around to making a transmission, because it was at the time that the first Thargoid structure was discovered. Do you remember that chap? Professor Melville, I think he was called. He was rivaling the engineer, Ramtab, in an attempt to uncover the secrets of the Guardians. Well, he headed off into the black, never to be heard from again. Until his ship was discovered here in Col 173 Sector LJFC 12-0. So, let's head over there and see what's what, shall we? Ben, my chief of engineering, set course.
I'm on it, Pew.
So, we are almost there, but just look at all these locked systems. We are right up against the locked Rega area. Coincidence? Right, so we've arrived in system Col 173 Sector LJFC 12-0 in orbit around planet A3. Oh look, some ancient ruins over there in system. But we are here for Professor Melville's ship. The seat. There. Whatever happened to him? Bring us in bed. Whoa, just look at this. The vessel appears to have two parts, one being the propulsion part, one being the scientific research part. I wonder if it can separate. Blimey, look at the size of that probe on the scientific part. Better not let the good folk at the Cannon Research Institute see this. They may get status envy. I know they have their new research vessel, the Gnosis, and all, but I reckon this scientific probe is the larger. My temporary communications officer, can you scan and transmit any ship logs you can find on that thing?
Sure, I'll be the first to discover them.
Research Vessel Seat Personal Log, January 13, 3303. I'm not just going to sit here while that jumped up mechanic Ramtus spoon feeds us information. That's what Professor Melville said. He wanted to know more about the Guardians, maybe even figure out where they came from. So off we went, with little to go on beyond the professor's belief that there were more ruins out there. He claims to have information that will help us find more sites, but he's keeping it close to his chest. Only he and the pod know where we're going. It's like he's afraid someone will take credit for his discovery. We've been scanning lifeless planetoids for days, eyeballing the ground for locations. He keeps reciting the same little speech. Xenoarchaeology has moved on. The days of exploring the outer reaches, only occasionally finding something of value, are behind us. I have found the key. But I'm not an archaeologist. Professor Melville is just a means to an end. I signed up for the money. We received an update today. Apparently Ramtai has found some new sites. Melville scoffed when he heard the news. Scraps from an amateur, he said. We'll find the real secrets. Trust me. Trust. That's an interesting thing. Why should we trust someone who doesn't trust us? Well, maybe he has reason not to. I took a look at his records while he was talking to the pilot. L don't like being kept in the dark. Melville thinks there could be hundreds of sites out there. His hypothesis is that the Guardians occupied an area of space similar in size to that currently inhabited by humans, but that for some reason they were forced to migrate. He believes he can find that region of space and the Guardians' point of origin. The Guardians could well have had a huge civilization, with hundreds of sites, maybe thousands, in this part of space. The similarities across different sites are comparable to the way we reuse certain structures. After all, how many Coriolis stations are there in the galaxy? Melville thinks the Sinufex RHD-11-102 system represents some kind of endpoint or last colony. Beyond that, the sites appear in clusters, with the number of sites in each cluster getting increasingly larger. We discovered a cluster of sites only a few days ago before finding a location with an entirely unique layout. So far we've found 3 sites in each of the following systems: Sinuf LAB42-2, Sinuf NLNC23-4 and Sinuf TPFB44-0. There are basically 3 different types of site, most of which have a different codex layout. Melville thinks that each type of site fulfilled a different function. He also thinks the Guardians were the dominant species in this region of space. But he's not content with this discovery. He wants to keep going. Are we ever going back to turn back? This isn't a research vessel anymore, it's a prison. All means of communicating with the rest of the galaxy have been disabled. Melville has taken control of ship. His obsession has doomed us all. I'm transmitting these records in the hope that someone finds them and comes to our rescue. But the chances of that are slim. We're getting out of here. The ship was designed to leave the lab ship to fly solo, carrying out experiments while the drive ship ferried supplies to and from occupied space. We're going to trap the professor in the lab ship, blow the umbilical and return home in the drive ship. The crazy old fool will have enough supplies to last him years LTs more than he deserves, trying to trap us all out here. There is no escape now. Somehow he found out what we were planning and welded the airlock to the drive ship shut. When we confronted him, he went crazy, called us mutineers and cowards. He shot our junior research assistant Marcus to make an example for the rest of us. The kid hadn't done anything wrong, he just wanted to get home. The only way off this ship is...
Automated warning. Atmospheric processors offline. You now have 15 hours to evacuate the ship before oxygen levels become toxic. Warning. Atmospheric processors offline. You now have 10 hours to evacuate the ship before oxygen levels become toxic. Warning. Atmospheric processors offline. You now have 5 hours to evacuate the ship before oxygen levels become toxic. Warning, oxygen depleted.
Well, that was a cautionary tale, wasn't it? The dangers of Melville's driving obsession to discover the secrets of the Guardians, leading to his demise and that of the crew. Or are we supposed to think that? Did he get close to some secret, and did the shadowy organization, responsible for the galactic conspiracy, silence him and set this all up as a convenient explanation? Maybe. Maybe not. That's the problem following the galactic conspiracy. You start to see its hand everywhere, even when it may not be present.
If you ask me, you are close to going crazy again. Pew. Ben told me about your Void episode on the edge of the galaxy, you know.
I didn't ask you, Jed. Exploring the rest of this system, there are 3 ancient ruins on one planet, and 2 on another. And, of course, there are the brain trees again, on an impact crater on a nearby planet. There are some theories about the connection between those brain trees and the Guardians. But that is for another time. Until then, good luck, Commanders. And I'll see you out there.